Ma'am, you have to allow me to share the screen, ma'am. Ma'am, unable to share the screen.
Sir, given you will be able to share.
Yeah. Okay.
Good evening, viewers. Today we are doing a very different subject with William, sir. Sir, please tell us what the subject is. And
yeah. Okay. And we just go with the more prayers. Hari Om. Dhananam tva dhanapati gum bhavamahe kavim kavinanupamasravastamam Cheshtara Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashangvan Divisveda Sadhanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Virvajin Pratim Nama Vitrayavado Ishaya Namaha Saraswati Namaha Sri Guru Devo Karpavasvaha Tatsavitar Paritim Number God Siddhi Aditya is so mind drive Dasha Guru. It's a very actually for medical course I had done some particular cases with this LGBTQ. I'm so new to this. I had to do some particular research. I asked some of my friends a bit of this, and I think this 2 weeks when I came to know about this. But when I started picking up the astrological rules, very strange, very important astrological rules, which you will never use it, or it was never a use, who came out of this. So I thought instead of simply just adding it to the medical astrology, I'll do this session separately so everybody else can make use of it. I think everybody knows. I think we can just make a little participant. Anybody can tell something about this, what they know about the LGBT before I go into the whole thing? Anybody wants to talk or tell something about it? There are a lot of mixed views, refuse, opinions, and many things that way. But when it came a part of astrology, we'll have to look at it from a very general, holistic, a different angle. You cannot take sides. Are there only two genders in astrology? Okay, usually we thought there are only odd, even sign or masculine, feminine planets, or some neutral planets, or some planets called hermaphrodite or lunar or something like that. I was actually doing this research for sexual related problems in medical astrology. After we did psychiatry, we did sexually related problems. But then there is sexually related problems has two divisions. Normal people who are straight, that's the new term, I think. What I say, who attracted to the opposite sex, and then they have problems in their sexuality. That is a different thing. But there is something else. There is something called gender and sexuality as two different things. I can identify myself as a particular gender, but I need not be attracted to the opposite gender, which usually is. So I went on to hear there are more than 52 kind of genders. So many is that I just did one kind of research and I tried to understand it from the Google. I just tried to understand. Then I just started collecting charts. I asked a lot of friends to get. I had some charts with myself. Then I picked up my friends. I put a post in VV, and many people had given me many charts. I started researching on it. Something very nice, very different. In fact, you can understand astrology in a very different way. The points and rules are totally certain rules which we never use. Generally, we say eunuch planets: Saturn, Mercury, Ketu. We don't know how much eunuch, how much hermaphrodite, or they call important planets, or they are sexual planets. But nothing serious much is never taken. But maybe when it comes to seeing sexual problems. But when we come to analyze gender, there's a huge thing untapped. Not just Saturn, Mercury, Ketu. What are these dual signs? What are retrograde planets? Retrograde planets are different meanings, but when it comes to understanding LGBT, retrograde planets, Rahu, Ketu, all these have a totally different meaning. So it is just not in the view of understanding LGBTQ, but actually understanding astrology from this purview, we can understand something more very, very interesting about the subjects. That's what I wanted. So I thought. Yes, somebody has to mute it. Hari sir. Okay, so what is it? This is a very what is that? Whole astrological concepts. We can see it from a different light from the LGBT spectrum. So when I show you the roles, when I show you the classes, whatever you are known as rules, you will see it is revised, or you'll be looking at it from a different light. So anybody wants to say something before we start off? Then we'll have a lot of discussion also. Anybody wants to say anything? Anybody has some views regarding this? LGBTQ. I don't know whether this is the correct title. I think everybody understands it. But I think when ma'am puts it, I think half the people, yesterday I was telling my friend, he was asking what is LGBTQ. In fact, I didn't know the term LGBTQ until last week. It is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. There is some people add AI, then there is something else more. So I just stopped it because for the sake of explaining what is lesbian, what is gay, what is bisexual, what is transgender, I have charts. So maybe we can see, let's see astrology from that particular angle. I think very few people have done this particular thing. I've just done a particular research. I thought I'll share with you all and we'll have a discussion regarding it more. Okay, I'll just tell you. So these are what is the symbols. I think all of you all know these two symbols, male, female symbol. But see this amount of symbols. That's just something which I picked up. There are so many symbols. And there's a particular term which I found out, gender fluid. I just discovered it and somebody was using it in class. Then I found out the gender fluid suits Mercury very much. Which planet is gender fluid? Which does not attach itself to any particular gender. It is not, some people misunderstand Mercury as a hermaphrodite or eunuch or important planet. No, in experience, you would see Mercury is very much gender fluid. So is Gemini. So many of these terms, you can find it, I can fix it. I have not tried to do all. Some it cure. There's a particular term cure or something. There's a very particular term called non-binary. Binary, you know, it is male, female, or 0 or 1. There's a non-binary. That non-binary term will fit for Ketu very nice. I didn't have time. Just 2-3 days of research I have to do. So I try to bring not to term it with a planet, but then you can understand the planet from this angle better. From the gender or the sexuality, the planet can be understood better. I'm just trying to view it from that particular angle. Okay, let's go into it. See, these are the LGBTQ terminologies: ally, asexuality, biphobia, bisexual, coming out, cisgender. I'm not going, so this is a different topic, but these and many more are there. I just put some few: drag queen, drag king, gay, gender expression, gender cure, heterosexism, heterosexuality. You can go. I'm this non-binary. I like this word. I think it describes Ketu. What is pansexual, omnisexual? I can go. I can. Each can be identified with a particular planet. See, there was one time when what is understanding God? Understanding God is what is we start with my God and my religion is the best, and we move on to understanding what is the whole world is God. I am God. What is it? Or I'm the reflection of God. Or God is the I am a reflection. So many things. So understanding the complexity of God it takes a big awareness and consciousness. But now I am stuck with one place where I thought only there are two genders, but then there is some there's somebody I was talking to and she's saying no, this is a conscious evolution. It is not you have to identify and attach yourself thinking you are only either a male or a female. What I say, the gender expression or the gender awareness is evolving in this Kali Yuga. It is totally different. You don't know how many it will take. So this is how it is moving. So you can't say this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. We need to go beyond as much as we had to go beyond my religion to God is everything and everywhere. There is something, but many things we go. This is maybe the spirit of the Aquarian spirit, and everything becomes one. It's a typical, you can call it this Aquarian spirit, where even the gender and the sexuality is more than pure sexuality, transphobia, transgender, transsexual, transvitite. Just look at these things from through. So let's general sexuality rules. I'm not going into too much deep into. There are many more rules if I can go, but I'm just giving you the general thing because relating with the subject I wanted to pick up. So I've just highlighted those factors. There are many more things can be said for sexuality. That's a separate subject. sexuality, how strong, and those are different terms, terminologies, and many things regarding it. But I'm just touching the surface of it, the peripheral, to understand it to our top. So men must have strong Mars, Sun, and Jupiter. Men must have masculine sign as Lagna, Moon, Sun, and Paka Lagna, or most planets in masculine sign. Venus must be well placed for both genders. Both Mars and Venus are important for healthy sexual life for both partners. Mars is more important for men, and Venus is more important for women. 3, 7, 11 are Kama Trigona Rasis, and 8th house rules the consummate act. Women must have strong Moon and Venus. Feminines must be Moon, Lagna, Paka Lagna, or most planets must be in feminines for a female. Rahu, Ketu, Mercury take on the characteristics of the sign or planet. I'll talk about it separately. Mercury with Saturn or Ketu or in Saturn's house will show disinterest in sex, or what you call it asexual. Mercury with Venus, Moon, or Mars will show high sexuality. Gemini, Libra, Scorpio are the Karaka Baba in LGBTQ, and Mercury is the Karaka. So the Gemini is the most important Karaka. Dual sign show multiple relationship. 11th house, strong, show many relationship. Moon, Venus, Mars, Rahu, mutual trine or association show promiscuity. Saturn, Ketu must not involve with 7th or 8th house, or 7th lord or 8th house, or with Venus or Mars, or it can disturb your sexual function. Any doubts, or anybody wants to say anything before I go to the next thing of it? Gender identification. We just talked about. Okay, this is a very, very important topic. This is after seeing so many, at least nearly, I think I've got 25 charts. I analyzed about more than 200 charts. I just brought down some 25 charts for discussing. The summary of what I understood is these are not classic. This is an understanding of the horoscopes from this angle. I think this was never discussed, or it was very lightly, very indirectly touched in the classics. See, Gemini and Sagittarius are masculine and bisexual. You will have to understand it as bisexual because, dual sign, though, what I say, it can be masculine, depending on the planet place, it can also act as bisexual. Virgo and Pisces are generally feminine, but being a dual sign can be bisexual, or it can, the sexuality can change depending on the planet. Dual sign take on the gender of the occupying planet. So you have Gemini, in Gemini, you have Venus and Moon, it will be more feminine. Or in Sagittarius and Gemini, you have masculine planets, it will be more masculine. No, the problem is in a masculine sign, you have feminine planets. In a feminine sign, you have masculine planets. What happens? And it changes for a person. A male having, in Gemini, 7th house, if he has masculine planet, what is the meaning? Or a female in the 7th house, if there are female planets. So there are a lot of possibilities you can see. So it is not standard. It will change depending on the gender. So Gemini is the Karaka. All please keep yourself mute until we talk. That time you can unmute and talk. Gemini is the Karaka of gender identification and can be seen strongly influencing in LGBT. I've seen a lot of, most of the case, the 7th Lagna Lord, 7th Lord, 8th Lord, most of the planets, somewhere Gemini being, Gemini after Mesha being the first masculine, the next Rishabha being, it's not exactly, it is identifying in a very gross way, Mesha and Rishabha is masculine and feminine. But actual, if you understand what is Gemini, it is where the gender is actually separating into a male female. You see the symbol as a male and female in Gemini. So it is very much what is either it is together or the identification of a male and female actually starts in Gemini. Gemini in in Sanskrit it is not Mithuna, it is Maithuna. Maithuna means it's a consummation. So there can be no sexuality without explaining Mithuna. That I can go on for Mithuna, so I could have explained a lot about it. Keep it simple. And so I understand Gemini as a very, very important sign. So next, Libra and Scorpio are the next sign influencing the gender identification and sexuality, because Libra, is the natural 7th house and Scorpio is a natural 8th house. So in case people having too many planets in Scorpio and Libra, or the seventh house, or the Lagna, or you have a stellium in these houses, can strongly influence the gender and sexual. So, Lagna, seventh and eighth are the Karaka Bhavas. Aries, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, Aquarius are masculine. But remember, Libra is ruled by Venus. Though it's a masculine sign, it has a touch of femininity. It's more of a feminine nature. Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn are feminine, but Scorpio is more masculine, and Capricorn is more, you can't say it is purely a feminine sign, it is in between. So these are not never spoken in classic. Saturn signs and Mercury signs, they what is it, the gender or the sexuality is totally different. It is not just for this. You can apply this for every other aspect of astrology. You will start understanding it from the LGBTQ, then it'll opens up into a lot of understanding for astrology. So Mercury, Saturn, and Ketu, gender preference depends upon its sign and association. The classical mention them as hermaphrodite. Mercury and Gemini is mainly the new term, gender fluid. So what I say is gender fluid is, I think what I understand is they don't take on a particular idea of whether they are male or female, and the gender identity changes body as it grows, evolves. I think most of the tomboyish girl which I've heard is what is it? They seem to be lesbian, and then they're masculine, and then they become more feminine later. That's what I've heard some sportsmen telling. Mercury in masculine sign, or with masculine planets, Sun, Mars, Jupiter acts as masculine. Mercury in feminine signs, or with Moon, Venus, Moon, Rahu acts as feminine. So naturally, alone Mercury, how will it act? Mercury with Saturn or Ketu will become sexual. So somewhere the gender identification has a lot to do with Gemini and Mercury. Though Mars is male, the alpha male, and then you have Venus, the female. Somewhere Mercury is what is it? Seems to define your gender. Mercury's positional chart seems to be very, very important for gender identification. The Ketu, though a male, it does not identify itself with any gender. It is non-binary, or you can even call it pure. What is it? When you see, I've seen most horoscope, K horoscope, we've seen Ketu in Lagna, Ketu in the fifth house, the strong Ketu, fifth from Moon, fifth from Mars, fifth from Ketu being very prominent. Fifth house is your house of romance, how you express yourself. Second house, expression is different. Your vocal expression. Third house is your energetical expression, your romantical, creative, or what your sense of your Lagna's impulse. And fifth house is how you blossom forth. In that particular house, or fifth from any planet, especially the gender-related planets, Lagna, Moon, Mars, or Venus, if Ketu sits down, it can have a strong influence on your taste. Whether you will like the opposite sex, or you like the you see, or know one thing, if the Lagna is male, the seventh is also male. Only the eighth is the opposite gender. If the Lagna is female, the seventh is also, only the eighth is an opposite. You will understand why Lagna and seventh are the same. If it's going to be husband and wife or male and female, why is the seventh house the same gender? If Lagna is male, why the seventh is also the same gender? It is a lot of understanding why it has been given. Saturn, like Ketu, is asexual when weak can cause impotency, can be identified. Mostly I've seen with transgenders. Transgenders, I've seen a lot of Mercury playing a role and Saturn, Ketu also playing a role. Then very, very important aspect is retrograde planets. Anybody knows what is retrograde? Retrograde is 3 times powerful. Retrograde planets will give delayed results. Some people say, no, it gives fantastic results. When calculating longevity, the Cheshtabala of retrograde planets is taken as 3 times more powerful. So there are many, many rules. If it is Ucha and retrograde, Neecha and retrograde. But as far as for this particular subject, when Lagna or in the 7th house or 8th house gets retrograde, there is your gender, the question mark changes. So when anybody having retrograde planet in Lagna, especially, or Lagna and 7th house who have a Lagna, then the sexuality or a gender identification or your sensuality, everything changes. And there's one more important thing. Saturn, Jupiter being retrograde. In most of the cases, I've seen people with Saturn and Jupiter retrograde, what I say, are not straight. They fit into one of these things. Moon, Venus retrograde, Mars retrograde. Very, very important, especially what is a Venus retrograde for a female and Mars retrograde for a male. Venus vice versa, it is not a problem. Female having Mars retrograde, it is acts differently. And what I say, it is not a problem for a male Venus being retrograde. But if this Mars is retrograde, it's a problem. Same way for a female, when Venus is retrograde, it can have a problem with your identity or problem, or what I say, you're not going to be straight, you're not going to be attracted by the opposite sex. There is going to be one of this problem can be. So it's very, very important. What are the houses you have to see? Dual signs, Saturn, Mercury, Ketu, retrograde planets. Again, all of you know Rahu, Ketu are retrograde planets. Okay, so when they are there in houses which influence sexuality, gender, they can change the whole thing. It is just reversed. Let's say when you have Saturn, Rahu or Ketu in the seventh, or Rahu with Mars or Venus, Moon, or with the Lord, no more your sensuality, your gender is same. It can be. And there is something called pansexual, when people are attracted to both. So what is many roles is very, very important, because these roles are not there generally in classic, but when you apply this with any amount of your case histories which you see, there is something else very different you will understand about plans. Okay, before you go into actual cases, if anybody has to say something, anything, any discussion, anything, everybody is very silent regarding this subject.
Sir, I've not understood if retrograde Jupiter or retrograde Saturn.
See, the Jiva Karaka is Jupiter, the Karma Karaka is Saturn. So, in fact, in Nadi astrology, these two are the most important planets. Apart from Lagna, you can take them as the most powerful, they are slow planets. Imagine somebody has both of them retrograde. So, a lot of regarding your identity, what you are to the world as such, can be very different. One more thing I didn't take it is also Ardha Lagna, I should, but I didn't want to complicate it. I've left out too much of Varga, understanding the Vargas or using Ardha Lagna. So I kept it very, very simple, because Ardha can also mean what the world looks at you as. Okay, so it is when you have the most powerful planets, the slow planets are the most strongest influencing planets. When somebody has both of them retrograde, especially in Lagna, 7th house, 8th house, when what defines gender, that could have a strong influence on your gender identification about yourself or your sexuality. Okay?
Sir, I know so many people with retrograde Jupiter and Saturn. They are normal. I mean,
No, wait. That is one of the roles. It is not somebody who has retrograde Saturn and Jupiter are going are a problem. That is one of the roles. You have to just remember as one of the roles. So don't dual sign 7th lord does not mean wrong. There are many roles. That is one of the role. Note them. That's all.
okay.
Just you cannot do a Saturn Jupiter retrograde. I think for 6 months, and everybody must be having some problem, right?
Yes.
What is it? Because they will stay for at least 6 months retrograde. So all the people born on that time cannot be like that. But note that is a very, very important. Just note that particular part. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, sir.
Because I've seen it in most cases. That's not the only case. That with some other rules, it add-ons, it makes the chart very, very vulnerable to an LGBT. There are many more rules also. I will tell you separately rules for gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender. There are more rules also. This is just general gender divinity. Okay. Anybody, any questions? Okay, let's move to gay. So gay, I think, describes a person who's attracted emotionally or physically as someone of the same gender. Okay, so gay in astrology, Lagna is weak, is either Nietzsche or a Dustanas, which gives a different identity. Lagna is a feminine sign. Lagna is feminine planet. 7th has feminine planets. 8th has feminine planets. So it's very important. Lagna, 7th, 8th. See, Lagna is your gender identification. Your 7th house is your sexual orientation. So, what I say, this, there must not be an opposite problem in this. What I say, let's say I have masculine planets influencing my Lagna, but I have the opposite planets influencing my 7th or 8th. Then that is where, so it is very, very important what planets influence the Lagna 7th and 8th is very, very important. I can look very masculine, but then my sensuality can be totally different. So it is very, very important. The Lagna and the 7th house. 7th and 8th are dependent on each other. The 7th you can take it as a sensuality, and 8th it can be the actual what is it, the sexual office. The sexual act is the emotional part of it is in the 7th house. The act by itself is in the 8th house. Yes, there is something with the 5th house also about romance, but in here when we are talking about this, we leave 5th house separate. But lot can be said about the 5th house involving. So you can see Lagna, Lord, 7th Lord in dual sign. So when the Lagna is dual, the 7th house is naturally will be dual. So you can see in case a lot of dual signs dominating a lot. 7th Lord with Rahu or 7th with Rahu. 8th house with Saturn, Mercury, Ketu. So the 7th or the 8th having an involvement of Saturn, Mercury, Ketu association. Venus is with masculine planets, or Venus is weak or afflicted. In lesbian, I've seen most of the lesbian for some reason has weak Venus. It is very, very important because one's sensuality and sexuality is ruled by, yes, 7th, 8th, Venus and Mars. So these planets has to be noticed. How are they placed in the horoscope? Mars is retrograde, okay, and Moon is weakly placed or afflicted in most gay individuals. Lagna or the 7th house is associated with Mercury or Mercury signs. Mostly it is Gemini, but you can also see it. Even Virgo is a a dual sign. So Mercury is about gender fluidity. Gemini is the Karaka sign for LGBTQ. Navamsa, and one more important thing, more than the Rasi chart, I've seen the person's sexuality more in the Navamsa chart. It very easily the 7th and 8th is Lagna 1, 7, 8. For all these people, they have malefics or some affliction or a kind of I should not use affliction in this term. I should use some kind of strong, intense planetary combination. The Rasi chart will look very mild. Sometimes in some cases, I found it difficult to identify, but the Navamsa will be so very clear. So, 7th, what is Navamsa? Navamsa is about her married life, or about a consummate life, or about the relationship and all about it. So you can see about our intimate life is seen more in Navamsa than the Rasi chart. It is mild in the Rasi chart, but it's very easily obvious in the Navamsa chart. So one more point, Ketu and Lagna, or the 5th from Lagna, or Moon, Mars, Venus can be seen in most gay names. 5th is expressing one's individuality. Then Rahu, Ketu, and red glow planets show change in sexuality. So you have how many of these? Not one of them. Just Rahu and Ketu alone is not enough. So you must have more than a role for this to express. So immediately you will say you have Ketu on 7th or Rahu on 7th, or 5th house Ketu, you must be this. No, you have to have more than 3, 4, 5 roles with the Navamsa also indicating. Only then it will work. So Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus are retro. So it is just not Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus are retro. Not all of them. So you can see these planets being retro in LGBT. This is more than 200 charts, which I had a look. This observations, maybe you all end of the class, you can give me your new observations also. A lot more has to go into the research. Now, this is not the final verdict. It is just one a research of this 200 charts, which I had. I'm giving a summary of it, which I did it for just hardly 2-3 days. I did. Maybe if we can do more, we can pick up more. But somewhere these points which I saw can be used not for identifying whether somebody is LGBT, but for understanding astrology in a different perspective, in a better, higher dimension. This seems to serve a purpose. That's what I wanted to bring this topic, not for me to explain what is LGBT. But look from this angle, the astrology concepts, is totally different. Okay, look at this particular chart. So immediately it's a male chart having Venus in Lagna. Venus in Lagna for male having Venus as in Lagna, Moon in Lagna, or a feminine sign itself. What it defines. So it is in Pavakatri first. Then look at where is the seventh lord. Seventh lord Mars is in the sixth in a dual sign with a retrograde Rahu. Then look at how many planets are there in dual signs. The Sun, Moon, with Mercury in a dual sign. Seventh lord in a dual sign. So you have 3, 4, 5, 6 planets in dual signs. And even the remaining planet, Jupiter, is actually in in Aquarius as Saturn sign. The only planet which looks nice, Venus, is sitting in Lagna in Pavakatri. Look at the Navamsa. Just go into the Navamsa and see Lagna is dual sign. And actually, the seventh house is dual sign. And see what is sitting in the seventh house. Mercury is sitting in the seventh house. Lagna Lord in the sixth. Now look at the eighth house. Neecha Mars with Ketu, Saturn aspect. So you will see it so clearly in the Navamsa chart. So, okay, we did, it was more of indirect dual sense dominating, feminine side dominating in the Rasi chart. But when you look at the Navamsa, you can easily see the strangeness seen in the Navamsa chart.
So we will see the aspect in D9 also?
Yes, yes, definitely you can see. Yes. All the aspects you can see. Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone has to say something? Okay,
Sir,
we'll
I
see.
have heard that these outer planets like Herschel, Neptune, they play a very vital role in these things. I don't know.
What is
I
it?
don't have too many charts of these. Huh?
No, I checked it up because that was the first thing I checked up. I went on to check where Neptune plane. Many people told me Uranus Neptune plane. That is just an addition. It is not necessary at all. So what is it? Because these outer planets cannot influence your physicality. I tried because certain charts I separately tried to analyze. It didn't work at all. What I said, this Uranus, nowhere in most of the cases, it didn't influence at all. It was very clear with these planets. Why do you want Uranus, Neptune? I'm not saying I use Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto for certain aspects. But as far as these case, that was the first thing. Because when I put it in the group, many of the foreigners went out to tell me, no, it is Neptune, is outer planet, especially Neptune has a very big important role. I tried. In certain charts, even I have even put the Uranus, Pluto. It didn't work out. So I just forgot to mention. So I can tell you very clearly, they do not play Earth. I tried
so they play on with the mental, na? If not physical, because this is a mental. There's some with these type of people. There must be some mental.
It's an assumption. When you do not know the rules, it's a very general assumption. Maybe when you do not, when you cannot define something, so maybe it is what is it? It's not this planets. You know how many outer planets are there? There are 10 more than 10 outer planets. I've seen like Chiron and many things. You know, people have started using when you cannot define something with the 9 planets. They first took Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. And things are not even be explained with Chiron, Neptune, Pluto. Now there are some 10, 15, all these satellite planets. Now they say, oh, it is because of this. Now Venus is sitting with Chiron, it is correct. So just to, what I say, give it a lot of theory, you're just introducing 10, 15 more planets. In fact, in Vedic astrology itself, you got Upagrahas. You got 10 Upagrahas sitting on. I even tried with them. It is not showing. None of the Upagrahas, it works. And Uranus, Neptune, Pluto are very far off planets. I'm very sure it cannot influence something like a gender. Yes, it has Uranus, Neptune, Pluto influence a race. Something which is going to happen the next 20, 30 years. It will happen. I've seen during Corona, Pluto's situation was very important. Pluto and Saturn were together. So I think 0 degrees of Capricorn, Pluto was it. I've seen major problems happening when Pluto and Mars join together. It's going next 30 years. What is going to happen? That kind of influencing a nation. I've seen these outer planets, but not in a personal chart because these planets, like when you said Saturn and Ketu being retrograde, this Uranus, Neptune is going to be there. I think for the next 7 years, I will be in the same sign minimum. Yes. The same sign. Pluto will be in a sign for 30 years. Then everybody must be the same. It cannot influence. I tried. Because when you cannot explain something new, they think what I say, the outer planets must be the reason. It is just a guess. Somebody has not done a serious research and sat down and found out whether actually do they play. I tried, it is not there. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, yes, do have some important function in astrology, but I can definitely tell you their role in LGBT is very, very little. Or there are so many other, just look at the roles I tell you. It is more very clear with these planets than you need not go what is it, these outer planets say, okay, they are there, that's why they are happening. You need not, what is it, push the responsibility. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
This person also avoids women for some reason. Like if woman touches him, he avoids her for some reason.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
person.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, this chart with Venus in the first house.
Yeah, Urska, no, speaking. Yeah, most of the charts,
Yeah.
Urska had shared it with me. So it's one of the charts which she gave. So she knows about them better. He avoids women, no?
Yeah.
See, what is say, having Venus in Lagna, he avoids women.
Yeah, and Venus is his Atmakarka in Vishaka.
Atmakarka. And he avoids women. Why? Fine. Look at the seventh house. No? Seventh Lord Mars is in a dual sign with Rahu. And many planets are in dual signs. You see, the eighth house aspected by Saturn. And the horoscope is a Kala Sarpa horoscope. I think it is more defined more than the Rasi chart. Look at the Navamsa chart.
Yeah, but he is rich. He has his own apartment in capital city, very beautiful apartment.
So materially a good successful person.
Yeah, but he lives alone, like with nobody.
Seventh house, no? What is it? When you want to live with somebody, what are the houses which involve living together with somebody? The second house, seventh house, 11th house. 11th is a group. You're living in society. You're connected with somebody very, very close. Athmic, seventh house plays a very important role. And to have a family, second house is very important. He's having Saturn in the seventh. And second lord is in the eighth, in sixth house. See the second house in Navamsa. Saturn in the second in D1 and D9. That is never good for a good family.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. See this particular horoscope. This another male person who is gay. This is some charts are easy, some chart are roundabout. See this particular chart. Masculine planets in the seventh house. Mars, Sun in the seventh. For a male having too many masculine planets in the seventh house. This is one. Look at Venus. How is Venus placed? Venus, which depicts his a male's sensuality or attraction. Venus is sitting with masculine planets. Venus is with Mars, Sun, having Rahu in trine, Saturn in trine. This is the most important. Venus with masculine planets in the seventh, with Rahu and Saturn. You don't need Uranus. In this chart, I put Uranus, Neptune. Just look at whether Uranus, Neptune seems to reflect. Uranus in the fifth house, Neptune is in the sixth house. Nowhere near the seventh or anything. So this is very clear. The seventh house with Mars, with two masculine planets, in trine to it, you have Rahu and Saturn. It's the major region. Let's go into the Navamsa and see. Navamsa Lagna is a dual sign. Where is the Lagna Lord? Neecha in the seventh house. Then look at the Venus position in the Navamsa. Venus with Mars, Ketu in a dual sign. So in Navamsa, how many planets in dual sign? 3, 4, 5, 6 planets in dual sign. And the seventh house is aspected by Saturn, retrograde Saturn. And then seventh from Moon is Saturn is sitting down. So you can very, very clearly say there's something about this person's sensuality, it is different. But why? Can be many things. So you can at least broad-based hint, there's something going to be totally different about how this person expresses. Look at the Ketu in the fifth house. I told you Ketu is your romantic feeling. How romantic you feel. It's not just romance, it's about your joy diviva. How you are very happy, your happiness, your spirit, your animated spirit, everything. So you have planets like Sun and Mars, that's a different field. If you have Moon, Venus is a different field. When you have Saturn, Ketu in the fifth house, you must understand what is the field. So this person has Ketu in the fifth with Saturn aspect. So so his preferences, likes, your fifth house has a lot to do with your preference in life. Your fourth house is your house of desire, but your spirit, if I can call you this, I don't mean Atma, the spirit, I mean your mentality or that particular spirit, very much influenced. So it's not nice to have Ketu Saturn in the fifth house. With an affliction to the seventh house, with Ketu, it is never good. So you see randomly, which I picked up, you will see at least most of the charts, Ketu being in the fifth house. Anyone want to say anything?
Sir, otherwise, when we see Venus and Mars, we just
Yes.
jump to the conclusion that the person must be, having more than one relation.
Venus and Mars, you must carefully analyze the horoscope. Yeah, you see before it was Venus and Mars. See, understand Mars is actually a bachelor. Okay, so Mars is a bachelor. Mars rules masculinity, but he's a bachelor. Mars is generally misunderstood, thinking he's promiscuous or sexual. No, he's actually a bachelor. He gets affected, very much irritated when he's in Venus actually. So if you look at most of the chart, when I show you other charts, you will see prominent trinal aspect, conjunction of Venus, Mars, or Venus in square or trine to each other. It can be very, very important. Again, Venus, Mars, what it means for a male is different, and what it means for a female is different. I mean, it depends on which house it is. Venus, Mars in a masculine sign is different for a male. Venus, Mars in a feminine sign for a female means. So you can't generalize it. Venus, Mars. Where is Venus, Mars? Venus, Mars is in a masculine sign. Again, with another masculine planet. So Venus is sitting with Mars and Sun. Just not Venus with Mars and Sun, has Rahu and Saturn in trine to it. See, Venus, Mars, he can be sensual. But sensual to whom? Not to his opposite gender. He can be very romantic, can be very sexual, but to whom? So that is the thing. See, we'll see the difference when we see gay, lesbian, and bisexual. When you see the gender, and the last it will come to transgender. So then you will understand, I think you will understand generally about how to judge a person's gender and how you can understand his sexuality. Let's see how many rules come out of this. See this particular chart, gay chart. Look at this chart. Okay, this is I think this is a very easy chart compared to the other chart. There are different variations. I think the more you see, the more rules of astrology will come. Lagna Lord, it's an odd sign, but Lagna Lord is sitting in the 12th in a even sign with Venus, a feminine planet. And for a male, Mars is Vargottama Nicha in the 6th house. Okay, and retrograde. A male having Mars retrograde is not good. Having it Nicha and retrograde and in a Dusthana. So note it. Very, very important to note. Okay, this is one thing. And then move to the Navamsa. Look at Navamsa. What is sitting? He's having Nicha moon, Mercury in the 7th house. And his 7th lord is again Nicha with Saturn. In Rasi chart, sees Saturn, Venus conjoined with Ketu in trine. So Ketu is in the 5th from Shukra and 5th from the Pakala. And the same thing repeats in Navamsa also. Saturn, Mars is with Saturn. And you have Mercury in the 7th house. So all, these planets, Saturn, Mercury, somewhere is influencing the 7th house. So this is a slightly different, feminine planets influencing this person with Mercury, Saturn, Ketu influencing these very important houses. Okay. Anybody wants to say something?
So, sir, for a male,
yeah,
7th house should have feminine planets or a male planets?
I think, you tell me, what should be the best? It should
Fiery
be very...
planets should be there, na? Fiery, male planets.
Yeah, but then again, it has to be very, very careful when you say fairy planets, because Mars in the 7th, I've seen it is never good for one's sensuality. It disturbs one's person's sensuality. So is Sun. Sun is not a very, though they are masculine planets, I've not seen Sun being very sensual. Neither is Mars.
Sun is separative. Sun is separative, yes.
Why Mars is not separated? You will see most of the marriage disturbance with Mars in the 7th or 8th. For male and female.
But sir, marriage disturbance is some other thing, and this relationship is
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else, na?
Yes, I'll come. That's the for that you will have Mercury, Saturn, Ketu coming. But I'm just explaining. You asked me whether masculine planets are good in the seventh house. It is safer to have feminine planets in the seventh house. It will not disturb. Masculine planets for both can be a problem. It is more problem if I can tell you for a male.
Oh.
Okay.
I was reading somewhere, that the feminine planets, especially Venus and Moon.
Moon for a
Seventh house
for a male it is good. For a male it will good. But if a female has Venus, Moon in the seventh house, that is the most important thing. It's not about the sensuality. Yeah, sensuality is not going to get disturbed. But who is she attracted to? When a female has Venus, Moon in the seventh house, who is she going to attract to? Is she going to get attracted to the opposite sex, or she's going to get attracted to the same sex?
Oh, it has to be seen this way.
There's nothing wrong with the sensuality. She is going to be very sensual. Yes, Moon and Venus will give a lot of sensuality. But if it is in the seventh house, who is she going to get attracted to? Same thing, Sun, Mars in the seventh house. Seventh house is your sensual identity. If a guy has Sun and Mars in the seventh house, what will it do? Will he be attracted to a female, or he'll get attracted to a male?
They'll get attracted to male. Okay.
Yeah. This
But
previous
this is
horoscope we
also
saw, no?
possible, sir, that they are leading a normal married life and also getting attracted to the same gender. Is it possible?
Yeah, sure.
Possible.
That's why there are many roles. See, actually, you have to divide this section into two. One section is sexual problems. I can't say these are sexual problems. This is just, I think, a developing of human consciousness into various levels. I see movies now. That day I saw one particular movie, I forgot its name. I do not know whether this person is a male or a female. The female looks like a male, and the male looks like a female, or in between. I think that is how the human consciousness is growing. What to say? The typical movies as an alpha male, a typical very feminine female is gone. It is somewhere that you have to take the conscious. See, Mercury, Rahu, all these are dominating. So how you express yourself is also evolving into various ways. You just have to adapt to the way the mutates. I think mutation should be more. The genders mutating into various ways. So you will have to accept it, and like you can accept all gods. You will have to accept all these kind of gender mutations. So all these are possible. I don't know. My daughter was telling me. I forgot him, the. Anybody knows these terms? Urska, I think you will know better. You know how they call themselves?
They call themselves as they.
Many things are there, no?
So they, them.
They, them.
I
So
think
they're
each
like the
gender.
pronouns. There's a big
Pronouns.
deal about
I
the
think there's a
pronouns now.
separate English for they have called as pronouns. No, one huge list. I just read it, and my daughter was telling me one big definition: when to say him, his, and when to say them, when to say they, and many things are there. Huge list. So this was all very new to him. And anyway, look, what I say, it was never seen from the astrological purview. What is it? What is happening? This is an Aquarian spirit, but nothing to say wrong about them. I think this is how the consciousness is mutating into different levels. So then again we'll have to look at astrology from it is already there. It is not something which I have to discover in astrology. It is already there. We were never dissected it, and we never analyzed it. What is the meaning of dual signs? What is Saturn, Mercury, Ketu? What is retrograde planets? What is Rahu, Ketu? As far as gender is concerned, it was never researched or never looked at it from the time. We see it today, how much we just a discussion. Let's see how much we can see.
So when
That's
I
the
was
beginning.
doing my philosophy, so Aurobindo studies was my subject. So when we study integral or a Poon yoga in it, so he has talked about this conscious evolution in which humans are participating themselves. And he has said that every identity has to be dissolved, and gender is one of them.
Yeah. See, God is what is God? God is male or female? God is male or female?
It's I think it has no gender.
Nirguna Brahman Brahman means there is no gender. Saguna Brahman will take on a particular male or a female form. So for you to understand, I am Tattvam Asi, Aham Brahmasmi. When I what to say, Prajnanam Brahma, when I am going to that particular state, I have to go beyond all identifications, even gender identification. This gender is identification is there only to be in the world, and only human. But when I want to know I am God, what is it? And in that I have to go beyond genders. But here, what I say, it was easy. When I had to go beyond 2 genders, now I have to go beyond so many genders. So there are so many genders mutate. Yes, for a spiritual angle, there is no gender. It's not the Ardhanarishwar is not what is a male and female. He is male and female and beyond in a perfect union. Like we all, in fact, what is it? A typical male or female is supposed to be, a female is supposed to be 51% female and 49% male. And a male is supposed to be 51% male and 49% female. It depends. It changes. I think the percentage changes. Somebody can be a bit more here and there. But basically, what is it? Your yin and yang, your right brain and your left brain. What is it? We have within ourselves, our function itself, there is 2 things. And depends, it will change accordingly. So spiritually viewing, yes, what is it? God is beyond genders. He's not, it's not no gender, he's beyond genders. Only the Saguna Brahman will have a gender, male, female, it'll. Or there are some gods which have both genders.
And so, I mean, these horoscopes can show a lot of conflict also, because see, now these days we have started listening or accepting these things, but I think 10 years back or 15 years back, things were not so normal. But we have these categories earlier also. We have started naming them now.
Yeah, no, I think, see, the conflict, what I say is, it's not conflict within themselves. I think the conflict with the society. So when somebody is like, how the society accepts, that is the conflict, I think. Let's say 25 years down line, this should be very common and normal. So the same chart will not show it as a conflict.
Conflict, yeah.
Now the conflict is not with themselves. They are very clear. You can't say, I can't go and tell a person who's gay, no, this is wrong, you don't think that way. But that's how if he's expressing his sexuality, what I say, that's how it is there in the planets. What can I tell anything about it? You can't say he needs therapy, he needs treatment, there is something wrong with you. You can't. That is how the planets are there for him. And that's how his consciousness is evolved. Somewhere this consciousness is stuck between male and female. Something is stuck. So somewhere his physicality has a particular gender, but his sensuality, is of a particular, is attracted to the same gender. It's a very complicated issue. I can give many definitions, but I rather say these are all evolving. Anyway, finally, you need to get beyond all gender. As when you come to spirituality, you have to go beyond even your male and female gender. There is no, you should never, go ego-less person is first going beyond your gender. So I don't think there's some conflict. Yes, at present, you will see the planetary position showing it will be a conflict, because I think I think the whole world still laughs at least in underdeveloped places, they laugh. I think in some other places, I think in US, and I think it is not a big problem.
So in India, like we still see it as a taboo.
Yeah. In India, yes, we have still, we have not accepted.
We have not accepted.
Here it is very difficult.
Sir, even in the US, it's not legal in all the states. It is a criminal offense. Just saying that the world is also warming up to the idea, like you're saying, it's an Aquarian age. So even in the US and some Western places, not totally like India, but there also, it's not everywhere okay, and acceptability is not there, social acceptability.
Okay, but I think it's much better than India, no?
Yeah, in Europe we don't.
Somewhere it is accepted, no?
In Europe we don't accept that so much. Maybe in United Kingdom, but not here.
Okay, look, this is a person who was a male. He's a Bharatanatyam dancer. Transformed into a female. He has surgically transformed himself. Look at this horoscope. Very Lagna Lord in the 6th house and a feminine sign retrograde with Venus moon aspecting Saturn, which is sitting. Basically, it is a masculine sign, but the Lagna Lord goes. See, this is where retrograde planets play a vital role. Saturn, Jupiter are retrograde. It's not just because he's got Saturn, Jupiter retrograde. Saturn is a Lagna Lord, and it is where it is retrograde in the sixth house, aspected by Venus. So you can easily understand. And then look at his Mercury. How is Mercury is placed? Mercury is with Mars and Sun. And somewhere with your identity, something to do with Mercury as a total different identity. Then most important, go and look at in the Navamsa. 7th house, Sun, Ketu. 8th house, Moon, aspected by Saturn and Mars. His 8th house is aspected by Saturn and Mars. Very clearly, the gender change is more visible in the Navamsa. His Lagna has Mercury, Rahu in Lagna. And his 7th house has, it's a dual sign. Navamsa is a dual sign. 7th house is a dual sign. You're having Ketu, Sun, and Mercury. You have all the planets, influencing the 7th and 8th. More than the Rasi chart. This explains, the Navamsa explains it more strong. Okay. I think this is a one chart where he did a surgical operation to become a female. Then after that, I couldn't recognize him. Look at this particular chart, London, UK. Lagna with a Nicha planet, 5th house, Ketu. So once, and where's the 5th lord? 5th lord in the 12th house, Nicha. Here, same horoscope, Saturn and Jupiter are retrograde, and both of them, it's not just retrograde, both of them are aspecting the 8th house. A retrograde, Saturn, Jupiter, very huge planets. Saturn 7th aspect on the 8th house, Jupiter 9th aspect on the 8th house. So that is very, very important. Even though this horoscope has Venus-Mars combination. But when you have a Nicha planet, 5th house Ketu, the whole thing changes. Go look at the Navamsa. Where is the Navamsa? See what's the planet in the Navamsa. Ketu in Lagna, it's Scorpio, it's Vargottama Scorpio. So you always note when it is Scorpio, Gemini, you'll see most of these cases, somewhere it is to do with Scorpio and Libra. Ketu in Lagna, 7th house, Rahu, Mars, 8th house, Saturn. Look at the horoscope. Okay. I think we are going very slow with K. We'll go a little faster. Okay, this is another horoscope. 5th house Ketu. Immediately you will see 5th house Ketu. 7th lord. Where is the 7th lord Mars? 7th lord Mars is in the 8th house. Okay, Moon is in the 12th house. Somewhere Moon has to have a play. Lagna lord Shukra is in the 9th in Gemini with Sun. With Sun in the 9th house. So the 7th lord in the 8th house. Now go to the Navam sense. 7th house, Mercury is sitting. Let's move another K horoscope. I think this is more easy. This is a very easy compared. Some charts are a little tough. Some are easy. You see this a stellium of planets sitting in Scorpio and Libra. How is Mercury placed? Mercury with Sun and Rahu, a Libra being afflicted. Libra is the sensuality of the house with Saturn, retrograde Saturn in the 5th from Mercury, Sun, Rahu. Lagna Lord in the 12th house in Scorpio with Mars. So Mars Venus combination is there. So it is Lagna Lord going into the 12th house in Scorpio. You know what is Scorpio? Scorpio is a pit, a big hole. So all the planets are getting drained. All the sensual planets, Lagna Lord, Mars, the masculinity, the Venus, all are sitting down there, aspected by Saturn with 5th house Ketu. Most important, find out 5th house is Ketu. Go to the Navamsa, Saturn and Lagna, 7th Lord Mars, which is 7th house is Scorpio, and it is in the 8th house. Moon, Mercury with Saturn in the 5th house. Okay. You can see these stars are put Neptune, Uranus, Pluto. If it has to influence, it is not there with any important planets for Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Okay, I think with K, we will see about lesbian. Okay, how does it differ? Lesbian and describes a woman who is attracted emotionally or physically to other women. Lesbian astrology, 7th house has feminine planets, 8th has malefic, 7th has Mercury oscillation, 8th has Mercury oscillation. Lagna, 7th or 8th is Gemini or Mercury is in these houses. Most of the roles well, but there are slight differences in lesbian. Retro planet in Lagna, retro planet in the 7th, retrograde Venus. Here I've seen in a lesbian, Venus retrograde. In a man, Venus being retrograde is it's good. It's not a problem. But in a female, because Venus represents the female, for her, Venus getting retrograde can be a problem. Especially Venus retrograde with Rahu Ketu in a dual sign, you can, these all tones of lesbian can happen. But that's not the only role. Moon in masculine sign or with masculine planets associated with Saturn, Mercury, Ketu. Nietzsche, Venus. I've seen most of the lesbians I see Venus becomes weak. I do not know. Most of it, I see these some 6, 7 horoscopes. I think 3, 4 was Nietzsche. Venus with Mars in a feminine sign. Moon is associated with Mercury, Saturn, or the moon. Scorpio, Libra, Gemini will have an efficient horoscope. Okay. Good. Look at this horoscope. Uska, you want to tell me something about this chart?
Yeah, this person had many affairs, and a lot of women are attracted to her. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear all of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of affairs. And she has some kind of magnetism around.
So many females get attracted to her.
Yeah, exactly. She
Okay,
looks
so
like a
first-
Justin Bieber in real life.
Justin Bieber. Oh. So
Yeah,
look at
but
this horoscope. Mars, Venus, Jupiter in Lagna aspected by Saturn. Where is Mercury? Mercury in the 12th house with Sun Rahu. Okay, Venus is in Lagna in D1 and D10. So typically this is a horoscope where it is a stellium of 6 planets in Scorpio, and something when Scorpio gets afflicted, this can affect your sensuality. See, direct houses, direct Kalapurusha, Kendra houses, Kona houses is different. And the 6, 8, 12 houses get afflicted, it changes. And especially I've seen this in Scorpio. Scorpio, bisexual, I've seen, too much sexual, promiscuous, all this I've seen. And especially for a female to have Mars in Lagna, in most of the bisexuals, female bisexual, Mars is there in Lagna. Many I've seen. It's very, very common. You see for a female having Mars in Lagna, either lesbian or bisexual. There are some planets I have to identify when it is bisexual, when it is lesbian. So you can see the amount of planets influencing the Lagna. Mars, Venus, Jupiter sitting in Lagna. 8th house is Gemini. Where is the 8th lord? 8th house is one of your sexuality. Where it is sitting in the 12th house with Sun, Nature, Sun, and Rahu. 7th from Moon as Vakra Saturn. So this is where the Vakra Saturn plays a role is when it is somewhere in the 7th house. It is in Lagna or in the 7th house from Lagna or the Moon. It just a Saturn Ketu alone does not matter. Here she has when from the Moon, a Vakra planet is in the 7th house. You must know your sensuality is not normal. Somewhere it is changing. That is the biggest myth. You can see the same Saturn in Navamsa, it is with Mercury. And look at Navamsa. Where is the 7th house? 7th Lord in the 6th house with the 8th Lord in an Amavasya Yoga. Okay. So what happens when it's Amavasya? The typical Sun is the Shiva, Moon is the Shakti. Okay, the more further away, the masculine femininity is better. But when they go together, I think Moon with Sun, the femininity dies. Why it is Moon is the Shakti. So as it gets closer and closer to the Sun, it loses its femininity. And with the Sun, the femininity is totally lost. The masculinity is not lost. The femininity is lost. So for a female having a Moon Sun in Rasi or Navamsa can say a lot about her sensuality. So look at the horoscopes when Moon Sun are together. Okay, look at this particular chart. Okay, this is, I think, dual sign rising. See how many planets in dual sign. Saturn, Ketu, Mercury, Moon, Rahu. So 3, 4, 5, 6 planets in dual sign. Okay, and what are all the planets involving LGBT, Saturn, Ketu, Mercury, are in an axis. All are sitting in 1 and 7 axis with Mars, nature, Venus, Mars. Somewhere these charts, Venus Mars plays a vital role in these LGBT couples. But here, Venus Mars for a female in a feminine sign, Venus Mars are sitting together. So you note down when Venus Mars combination in a masculine sign has a different meaning, in a female sign has a different meaning for each gender. Okay. So, look at the horoscope. Saturn in Navamsa, Saturn retrograde, Saturn in Lagna with Venus, 5th house Mercury, 7th house Rahu, 7th Lord in the 12th. Look at this chart. Uska, is this chart you gave me this chart?
No, I didn't.
No. Okay, look at this particular chart. Immediately what you'll note, Lagna Lord in the 8th house, Shukra nature. So for a female having Shukra nature, some what is it? Mercury with Ketu, not on Mercury with Ketu. There is always the Mars and Venus quotient is very, very important. It is very good to have a healthy Venus and Mars equally strong. See, bisexual, I'll show you both strong. Venus and Mars combination chart. I've always seen Venus weak. Most of the chart you see Mars and Venus being weak, Mars is very strong, and most of the lesbians. 7th Lord Moon is with Rahu, aspected by Mercury. 7th for a Moon as Ketu Mercury, Venus nature, Lagna Lord in the 8th house. Very, very clear this chart. Look at Navamsa. What is in the 7th house? Mercury in the 7th house, Mars is in the 8th house. And Venus Mercury combination, it's a very artistic, creative combination, but when it comes to sensuality, it is totally different. Okay, it changes for a male and Venus Mercury, what is the meaning? And for a male, it changes. So you note down this Venus. In Venus Mercury, for I've seen most of this, and naturally they're all series particular plan. You look at this chart. Scorpio Lagna, first thing. Venus nature. Venus is nature. Straight Mars is strong. Mars is a Lagna Lord, is quite strong. Venus nature. The first is from 7th from Moon is Saturn and Sun. Go to the Navamsa and see the position. Moon, Mercury, Ketu, 6th house, Saturn, Mars, Rahu in the 12th. Lagna is a dual sign in Navamsa. Okay. Anybody wants to say something? Like this, compared to men and women, I think I'm not sure. The more of women tend to be lesbian, and then they, the sexual identity changes, I think, after 15, 18, 20. The men are, the gender is constant or it doesn't change. I've had men who told me, yes, I was attracted to the same gender, but then it changed after a while. See this particular chart. I think it is a dual sign Lagna. Immediately you can see Moon, Venus in the, for a female having Moon, Venus in the 7th house. 8th house, Saturn, Sun. So, you know, even if it is not lesbian, something is wrong. I should not use this word wrong. I'm used to afflictions of 7th house, but there is something not straight. Moon, Venus in this Lagna Lord in the 7th house with Moon, Venus. So just to see the combination, and what happens when Lagna Lord is with Moon or Venus, and 8th house having Saturn and Sun. Okay. The 7th house is Gemini. Whenever 7th house is Gemini or Lagna is Gemini or the 8th house is Gemini, and most of the LGBT, it is Lagna, 7th or 8th will play a vital, or one of the dual sides will play a vital. Navamsa 7th house, Neecha Moon is sitting on, and Mars is Neecha. See the Venus. See how Venus is there in the Navamsa. Venus is with Sun, Saturn, Ketu, aspected by Mars. So for a female, the position of Venus is very, very important describing her sensuality. There should be a balance between Venus and Mars. They should be similar. It's very nice to have a Venus and Mars in mutual trine on Kendra. 6, 8, 12 position is never good. And where it is from Lagna, from Moon, and from Venus, Mars, mutual is very, very important. And one being very strong, one being very weak, can all have a lot of say. Okay, look at this particular horoscope. Urska, is any one of your friends chat? You can tell something about them. So it'll add on to the flavor of the chat. I don't know which was all these Austria chats.
Yeah, these are charts from my friend Anita. She sent me this. I think these two lesbians are living together or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, see, you can see the starting immediately. What is the striking feature of the chart? Retrograde planet Venus in Lagna. A female having a retrograde planet in Lagna. 7th Lord is also in the 7th house. It is retrograde. Okay, this is the most important thing you can see. Two retrograde. Lagna has a retrograde planet and 7th house has a 7th Lord in the 7th retrograde. So what does it mean? So when you see a horoscope with a particular planet in its own house retrograde, understand the Karagathom is reversed. A 7th Lord in the 7th house having a retrograde planet, the Karagathom is reversed. Shukra in Lagna in retrograde, what is the meaning? It doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to enjoy it in the usual way. That is the meaning of retrogression. What is it? Only if you study LGBT, we can understand these things. The same Saturn, Venus are conjoined together in Navamsa. Again, you see somewhere the Navamsa, this dual sign combination will come. Navamsa is a dual sign, 7th Lord is a dual sign, 7th Lord is sitting in the 6th house. Lagna Lord and both of them are sitting in the 6th house. Okay, see this particular chart. Dual sign Lagna, retrograde Saturn sitting in the 7th house. And 7th Lord Jupiter is with another retrograde planet Ketu. So you see how many retrograde planets playing a role? Look at the Navamsa. 8th house, Mercury is sitting down, and there is a feminine planet, Moon, in the 7th house, aspected by Mars, Sun, Saturn. See the Navamsa 7th house. Very, very important to understand the health life of a person. The Navamsa 7th Lord, where is Mars, Venus placed in Navamsa, placed more than the rest? Because Navamsa is the your internal life, personal life, or everything about your relationship. So you want to understand a relationship, you will understand it better. And look at, even in Rashi chart, I can't say it is just Saturn. A Saturn in the 7th, immediately I cannot say she's a lesbian. I know there's a retrograde planet in the 7th house in a dual sign, and with the 7th Lord Ketu, so something is reversed. But look at when I look into the Navamsa, it is more very, very clear. When Moon is in the 7th house with Mars, Sun, Saturn aspect, definitely what I say, her sexual life is not going to be what the world accepts as. It's going to be totally different. See this particular.
By the way, the other chart, this older lesbian, she had some health issues. When you said something was wrong with her, she had some health issues. I don't know what exactly.
Okay, but it's nothing to do with their sensuality. No, not related to that.
Yeah.
Some other health issues. Yeah. Look at this particular horoscope. Then immediately Venus nature. Immediately, Venus nature. It's not nice for a female to have Venus nature. Good Venus is very, very important. Okay. Then where is Mercury? Mercury with Sun and Sun. Where is Lagna Lord? Lagna Lord in the 12th with Neecha Moon, Ketu. So you have a stellium of planets sitting in Libra and Scorpio. Go to the Navamsa and see Venus with Saturn, Ketu. You can see the position of Venus. So this is a horoscope where it is a weak Venus. You have the Lagna Lord in the 12th is Moon and Ketu, and most of these planets are sitting in Scorpio. Maybe you can add Uranus is with Jupiter and Moon, Ketu. That is the reason you can add. But without you don't need Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. It is this chart, the rule which I say, it is self-explanatory. This retrograde planets, Saturn, Jupiter, Ketu itself is enough. You don't need another Uranus, Neptune, Pluto to explain. Simply, I can add maybe Neptune is in the 7th house. That's the reason, because I can say. Let's move to bisexual. Okay, see the horoscope now, as far as we saw, there were some afflictions in both the gay and lesbian chart. In bisexual, it slightly changes and becomes different. So yes, dual sign still dominates. The nodal axis, the Rahu Ketu domination will come more between 1 and 7 to 8. Here in lesbian, you had weak Venus, but here in bisexual, you will have very strong Mars and Venus. Mars and Venus are very strong. Even the 7th and 8th are very, very strong. Okay, why it is bisexual? There is an affliction with strength. In the other horoscope, it is an affliction with weakness, with dosha. Here it is strong with affliction. See, Scorpio prominence. Scorpio prominence in most of the bisexual, it is where Venus and Scorpio. Especially Venus and Scorpio is very, very common in bisexual. The 7th lord in Scorpio, 7th house has Scorpio or many planets in Scorpio. See, Scorpio can be very sensual also, but depending on the planets, the meaning changes. Venus, Moon, Mars, Rahu, mutual trines or association leads to promiscuity, and one is bisexual. One very, very common thing I've seen in bisexual women have Mars in luck. I've seen it in lesbians also, but most of the cases when I see bisexual, I do not know. Mars seems to be in Lagna. Maybe, I don't know what to say. They are, what is the reason for it? Comment. This is an observation. In gay and lesbian, the horoscope has doshas are imbalanced in the planets between gender and sexuality, but in bisexual, the planets denoting sexuality are strong with malefic association. Let's see it. This person is I think he's your friend, no? Uska? Gay and bi.
This one, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think the name also I don't know. This one. Oh, Slovenian.
No, yeah, but I think he's Aries Lagna.
Okay.
He's Aries, yeah.
Oh, this is a different chart.
No, I think that's his chart, but he's Aries Lagna, yeah. So
Okay.
he's not Pisces.
We'll just skip this chart. Okay, look at this particular chart. Okay. Venus in the 7th. Okay, so see the position of Mars. Okay, Mars is strong in this Lagna, it's Scorpio Lagna. Mars is Lagna Lord is in the 2nd house. See the amount of planets. You have Lagna Lord, Moon, Sun, all the most identity planets are in dual sign. You have a strong Lagna, 7th house with Venus is there, 10th house Rahu. There is no affliction in this chart as such. This is Marlon Brando's chart, horoscope. I think he would have a strong masculine it is a very strong horoscope. The only thing is Moon, Sun, Mars, Lagna Lord, Moon, Sun is just not a relationship with women. He also has relationship with women. This is a blend because of a lot of dual sign combination. Slightly the dosha is is more mild. See this particular female chart, Billie Eilish. Look at her horoscope. Mars is in Lagna. Venus is strong. Mars in Lagna, Shukra in Scorpio in the 10th house. So you will understand Mars in Lagna for a female, which Shukra in the 7th house. There's nothing wrong with the horoscope as such, just the domination of dual signs. See the planets in dual signs. Mercury, Sun, Ketu, 5th house, Rahu, Jupiter, Lagna Lord, retrograde, and aspected by Venus. When you have Lagna Lord retrograde with Venus or Mars, and you understand. So there's a particular female with Mars, Venus sitting in Scorpio. Lagna in Navamsa has a retrograde planet. A very strong Venus again in Navamsa also. Okay, see this particular female, it is Miley Cyrus. We pronounce it as Miley Cyrus. Scorpio. See the stellium in Scorpio. Mercury, Venus, Sun in the 7th. Mars in Lagna. Again, see Mars in Lagna. Retro Mars in Lagna with Venus in the 7th house. So it is a very healthy, I don't know, that's healthy, highly very sensual person, definitely, and say Mars and Venus in 1 and 7 axis. Mercury also plays a role. Moon Rahu combination is there. So you see the other charts which I showed, there were heavy doshas in the 7th, 8th, but here it is more of a very strong Mars and Venus influence, mutual aspect. In mostly, I think it's influencing when it comes to Scott. Anybody has anything to say? But I'm sticking out to the same points. I can divergence, but tell something else different. If anybody has something about bisexuality, if they views, opinions, they experience something, you will always say. I think this word pansexual or something like that. I just saw the word. Because I think does it defines bisexuality? This pansexual. Some similar words I just had. Okay, look at this particular horoscope. Female. This is Megan Fox. I was a big fan of her, Megan Fox. But I didn't know she was bisexual. Mars and Lagna. Venus in the 6th house with Sun, Saturn aspect. Okay. Most of the female I do not know when it is Mars is there in the Lagna, but seems to have. Look at an answer, Rahu, Jupiter in the 7th house. 7th Lord, 7th house is Gemini. Whereas 7th Lord with Mercury is with Rahu. 8th house has Moon. So everything depicting sensuality is very, very clear. Venus is aspected by retrograde Saturn. So there is a sensual planet Moon in the 8th house. Mars is in the Lagna. 7th Lord Mars with is 7th house itself is Gemini with Rahu. Okay, this is okay. Look at this horoscope. 7th Lord, again, 7th Lagna is dual sign. So 7th is a dual sign. 7th Lord, Jupiter with Rahu. Shukra in the 11th house. Mars is strong. This is a very strong horoscope. There's equally strong, you can see Venus in the Worms also. So the only thing where it becomes bisexual is, yes, it is a dual sign domination and it's a 7th Lord combining with the nodes and Mars and Venus in mutual trine and being very strong. What is if you think it is okay, something wrong, something not good, then you can say yes, they're combination of dual sign with Rahu had a. Okay, see this particular chart. 7th house has a retrograde Saturn. 7th Lord is in the 12th house nature. Maybe this horoscope looks slightly having dosha because 7th Lord is in the 12th house. But 7th from Moon has Mars in the 7th house. Either it was Mars in Lagna or Mars is sitting in the 7th from the Moon. Exalted Venus in the 8th house. Anything before we go to transgender? Anything you want to say about bisexuality? Anything? Any views?
You don't get too many charts like these, no, sir?
Yeah, too many. Okay, just
people
maybe
don't share, After seeing this, I feel, so many people must be having these issues, but people don't
It's very
share,
important to understand your own chart. So I'm just explained it in a different way because the horoscope planets, as far as gender is concerned, has never been described. So somewhere, even to understand yourself, how masculine am I, how feminine I am, how straight I am, how complicated I am, each way, somewhere, each has a different consciousness. So you want to understand that from that angle, this particular session could be helpful. Well, how much does retrograde planet change the meaning of the horoscope? Or Rahu Ketu, you just understood Rahu Ketu is bad or good, or it can give you luck or something like that. But understand Rahu Ketu are reversed. So wherever Rahu Ketu can reverse the meaning of the bhava or the planet. Dual signs. You only thought dual signs are mixed or alternating between two things. It can mean both. Or two things can always happen. So as far as this, there can be a confusion or what is an identity is both or one of them is changed. So this is very, very important to understand these concepts. Okay, what is the difference between transgender, gay and lesbian? Anybody can tell me? I think I have an understanding, but anybody can explain it better. I think gay understands me as a male or is only attracted to the same. I think a female knows she's a female. She identifies herself as a male, but though I've seen lesbian having being very tomboyish, there are two aspects of the same lesbian. Transgenders, I think, which I understand, is the physicality is a little different. What is it? There are what is gay can be more male gay can be more feminine, or a lesbian can and may not be very feminine. But here in gender, I think there is something wrong with the physicality. The physical organ is somewhere disturbed, and there is a lot of confusion. What gender? They don't depict the gender, or they're too much of a gender. There's a confusion. So because I've seen the doshas in a transgender, there are a lot of doshas in this horoscope. I think transgenders are accepted in society long back. It is only gay and lesbian are finding it difficult to get. They know it looks like transgenders have been taken as a defect or some anomaly in the chart. But again, this is one part of human physical evolution. It is also a part of it. So I can't say there's something wrong with them. There's something part of how a human being, like let me say what I say, when you are there as a male for 5 births, and the 6th birth you are a female. How will you identify yourself as? Usually, Bhagavad Gita says, you have to do your dharma. So if you are a male, try to be a male. If you are a Kshatriya, be a Kshatriya. So whatever role you are trying, you have to do that particular dharma. But then if you are used to a particular role for 5 births, and suddenly there is a change in your gender identity, there is a confusion. Actually, none of us, we are not a male or female at all. What I say, in essence, our Atma is not male or female. It's not God is not, Atma is not male or female. Atma has no sexual identity. Sexual identity is only with the body. And in fact, every body is a mixture of a male and female characteristics, which both is necessary for us. There is a masculine function in every female, and there is a feminine function in every male. So it is a blend of both. The left-hand side of the body is supposed to be feminine, and the right-hand side is supposed to be male. The left and right brain, the left brain function controls the right side of the body, and the right brain controls the left body. You see the Kundalini Chakra, the Ida, Pingala, and Adi. What I say, it is to do with all of us are by nature bisexual. We have both the sexes. It just for some reason, our Atma has no gender, but for a particular body, it expresses one gender more than the other. But in these cases, there is I think it is a concoction, a blend, and it's not exactly being Ida or Pingla. It is all these chakras are concocted totally, and it expresses a total different identity. So you have in transgender, Lagna is your gender identity, but 7th is your sexual affinity, and 8th is your sexual identity. Jewel Lagna is a Nicha planet, weak Lagna or affliction Lagna, malefics in 7th or 8th house. 7th Lord is afflicted. I've seen 7th and 8th being very afflicted in bisexual, it is a very strong chart. 7th house, 8th house, Mars, Venus strongly placed. Some affliction here are there, or dual planets, retrograde planet. High sexuality, but it is also in transgender, it is a lot of afflictions. Even in gay, in lesbian, I don't see the affliction being strong. In when most of the transgenders you see, the 7th and 8th house can be under very strong affliction, and Mercury, especially in transgenders, is severely afflicted. See, this is particularly, you can see this person in this photo also. Lily, watch out here. No. You look at the horoscope, Kedu Lagna. So, Kedu Lagna is like what I say, the Atma saying, no, I'm genderless. What is your gender? Kedu Lagna. In a feminine sign, Kedu is sitting in Lagna. Venus moon, Nietzsche moon with Venus. So, Lagna Lord is sitting in Scorpio with Venus. Your 7th Lord, 7th house Rahu, 7th house aspected by Mars, exalted Mars, and 6th Lord Jupiter. Go to the Navamsa. This transgender is very important. The Navamsa plays a very vital role. See how the Navamsa is. It's a dual sign. 7th house has Mars, 8th house has Saturn, Ketu. Where is Mercury? 7th Lord Mercury in the 6th house. You can see how severely the 7th and 8th afflicted in Navamsa. It is also afflicted Rasi, but it is very badly afflicted in the Navamsa. So you can understand what is the identity. Is it a male? It is a female? How will you describe it? In fact, there is a particular rule in astrology where you can look at the horoscope and say whether it is a male or female. There are many rules. Like one of the rules, which some it works, some it's not working. If your lagna for a male, if it is a male, the lagna is supposed to be in odd pada. For a female, it will be even pada. So if it is not, if you are not born in even pada, they will move they rectify the horoscope. So lagna has to be 1, 3 or 5. So if it is an so one of the many rules, and I've seen astrologers correcting the horoscope and saying no, you have to be male or. But how will they correct it? What is it? He can be male or female, but his gender identity, his sexuality is different. Gender is different, but his sexuality is total. What is the correction? Okay, this is Bruce Jenner. Look at the horoscope. Neecha Sun in Lagna immediately. 7th Lord. Where is the 7th Lord? 7th Lord in a Badakasthana sitting with Sun. Where is Mercury? Mercury Kedu in the 12th house, aspecting by 6th Lord. Okay, so immediately with this, you can't say a transgender. You just go and see it in the Navamsa. Go and see the 7th and 8th. It's very important. The 7th and 8th house in Navamsa matters a lot. Lagna Lord Neecha with Sun Rahu. 7th house as Mars, 8th house as Kedu, and the horoscope has very strong Venus. Venus and Moon, exalted Venus and Moon. In the horoscope itself, Venus isn't sitting in Scorpio. So wherever Venus is sitting in Scorpio, note it. I think some people should have good experience with Venus in Scorpio. Anybody has good experience with Venus in Scorpio? Anybody have noted Venus in Scorpio, how it functions? Okay, no, now you note. Anybody has Venus in Scorpio, note it very carefully. Okay, this is Thomas speaking. Look at the horoscope. It's a dual sign. So what is it? Ketu Saturn, retrograde Ketu Saturn. And so the same combination is 7th from the Moon. 7th from the Moon. Ketu Saturn is the 7th. This is an 8th house, Mars. Mars sitting there. So the 8th house afflicted, the 7th from the Moon is afflicted. It is a dual sign Lagna. Immediately go to the Navamsa and see how is the Navamsa. It is a dual sign rising again with Mars, 7th house Sun, retrograde Shukra in the 8th. Mercury, Lagna Lord Mercury with a retrograde planet, aspected by a retrograde planet. We can easily see what to say. There is some confusion about the physicality. See, in gay and lesbian, there is no problem. VIGYA is a male or female. Here in a transgender, the physicality is a confusion and his sexuality is a confusion. So I think what I say, people don't view them in a very good way. Though I think it has been accepted, gay and lesbian is not much accepted. I think these are accepted, but still there is a stigma related to them and a lot of negative things related. As far as horoscope concerned, I think it is like a sentence. What I say, the identity, the Atma is not identifying itself as the subtle body. Subtle body is not clear about what its identity, what it should identify itself. Whether it should identify itself a male or female, it is not there at before birth itself. So that is a confusion. The body does not form correctly into a full male or again lesbian. There is nothing wrong with the physicality. The transgender, there is a confusion in the physicality itself. So the physicality is difficult, and what I say, the identification, the sexuality is also. This is a complicated case. The subtle body is totally confused about his gender. Imagine what kind of karma when his basic gender identification is confused. It's confused and his attraction is also confused. This is heavy karma. So you can see these karma karmic planets more in transgenders compared to the other horoscopes. I think I've a lot of charts. Need too much for y'all. Anybody has anything to say? It's very important. This is not for actually analyzing. I'm just for LGBT itself. Certain rules of astrology, looking at horoscope from this view, of looking at the the gender view or the sexuality view. Some principles are seen. See, when we see important person, a person is erectile dysfunction, some other problem, he's a bachelor. Okay, the rules are very easy. That is totally different. There's very severe affliction will be in the horoscope. Here it is not like It is what I say, I'm a male or female, but I'm attracted to the same thing. What is how you view astrology? How does astrology look at from that particular point? So a total dimensional perspective view about how you see horoscope. I just okay. This is very important. Just not viewing. You can use this for normal horoscope readings. I got more. I didn't bring in much more rules. I just wanted to bring the basic rules for you all to understand. Okay. Anybody has anything you can tell me? What is the summary of what is it, the essence, or what you all digested and what you all got confused? So you can tell me your views. Just tell me. I think what is it, to be a more bigger verdict, I should analyze at least 500 horoscope. It was only just 200 horoscope, and I think I did about 25 horoscopes. Something else more stronger rules would come. Okay. Anybody has to say anything? But tell me. Oh, okay. Was the session useful for you?
Definitely, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
A
sir.
different view, no?
Completely
Completely.
different.
Hmm.
Now we will have.
So I
Yeah.
just applied the principles to Karan Johar's horoscope. So they are being applied wonderfully. And Shah Rukh
Yes.
Khan's also for bisexual. I was just
Okay.
took them
What
on
is it? Shah Rukh Khan is
internet.
bisexual. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Really?
he is. I mean, he has stellium, 3 planets in Scorpio in the 4th house. Retrograde
Okay.
Saturn aspects it. His Leo ascendant and Sun is
Okay.
debilitated in the 3rd house. All right. And similar for Karan Johar also.
Okay.
He has Mars and Venus conjunction in the 11th house,
Okay.
aspected by retrograde Jupiter,
Ah,
and Sun Saturn in 10th house in this one, Taurus.
oh, good. Very good. Very fast. Yeah. Start studying. Very good.
Yeah, so, no, because in celebrity, I only knew these 2 cases. So I thought
Okay.
maybe I just check.
See, this last transgender, I took it from Astro Bank. Somebody told me Astro Bank has a lot of this gay, but then finally there was no gay lesbian. It was only these transgenders. Only 3 was there. The rest of the horoscope, the data was wrong. So only these 3 with A ranking was there. I had some personal chart. Then I took it from a friend. She had given me a lot of details. So that's had, and then after that, some lot of people personally came to me and shared it. One astrologer came and gave me his whole list of, but he gave me only gay. He gave me very little lesbian. He had given me some 25 gay horoscopes. Short. Then after that, many people came and they showed my chart. Why didn't you give your views? And then I had to give them why it was. So there's some very important charts. I tried to. So I think you
There
can.
is,
Tell me.
yeah, there is one aspect also. There are cross dressers also. Actually, I'm interested in behavioral sciences. That's why I got into astrology. So earlier I was a student of psychology. So I wanted to do my PhD in cross dressers, which was rejected anyway. Then I left it. I joined the philosophy, and then now astrology. So cross dressers, they're just normal. Their sensual or sexual preferences are normal, but girls like to dress like boys, and the type of sports or the type of movies, and similarly it applies to boys also. They like dressing like girls, or maybe they just enjoy, and I know so many of them in my friends also. Even I like to dress like boys. I really like that their trousers or their shirts or these things, they are well made. Maybe it's for girls also, and it's usually my brothers or my husband, they complain, yeah, you buy your clothes now, why you buy wear our clothes. So that is also
That's
there.
your choice. That's your choice. But see, the thing is, okay, everybody has their own choice, how you want to dress, how you want to look, and what's your preference. But
So
astrologically, this can be defined. Why?
my Mars is in Lagna and I'm Virgo ascendant.
Okay. So naturally, what is it? You can say you told me you like to dress up like a boy, no?
Like a
Maybe
boy.
that dominance, male dominance, no, is
Yeah.
more. Maybe like
And
what you say, that testosterone is ruled by Mars. The estrogen and progesterone is ruled by Venus. When you have a strong Venus somewhere connected, the estrogen secretion is more. So I heard a doctor telling me a female's preference, sexual preference, is very much to do with her estrogen and progesterone secretion. Am I correct?
yes, I think so. biologically.
Male's testosterone secretion depicts how masculine is he or how alpha male is he. Matters a lot.
And then there are males also. I saw a movie on it. There are males, though they really like the dresses that belongs to females, like a lehenga or a sari or a skirt.
Many people have started dressing up like that,
Yeah, they have started. So maybe not openly, but secretly, we see JNU videos and all there. Yeah, they are very popular these days.
Yeah, I see. You might look like a laughing thing when but I think we have to to accept all these things. Our mind should get better. We should start accepting this more. No.
Yeah.
Should not laugh at what it is men dressing up in skirts. It was a time when we didn't accept women dressing up in pants.
Male, yes.
It was that was accepted. Now, I think the human consciousness, the tolerance or the big large heart to accept anything. You can you have to accept anything and everything.
So
people are still to understand God in its various multifaceted self. People are yet to understand. Where is the question of people understanding genders and various, right?
Yeah. But again, maybe not everybody is at a same stage for evolution. I think that is also
a healthy state of mind. I think you will have to accept everything. You have to have your consciousness. Actually, the state of godliness is your consciousness, infinite consciousness expansion. So that is only God. It is not if I keep my consciousness only to a particular restricted manner, then where's the question of my godliness? When I can think, I can expand, everything can be possible, can happen, every role is possible. So you can't define God to only this and that. This is the only way it has to function. Everything is possible in different. If I can accept God as a stone, as a monkey, or divinity with 1,000 hands, and at the same time God as a very gruesome manner. A Hindu mind is trained to accept God in any form, from an animal to the most divine form with so many heads and hands. But what is the problem in accepting gender in its multifaceted, different forms? Something you need to accept that. That's the way consciousness is expanding. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, because finally you have to become genderless. You have to be beyond gender. But as long as you are doing a particular role, it will be good if you identify yourself with some gender. It is maybe in a society, it is, but I think that is changing. I think 25 years, you will have many genders. Like say, you won't know which is male, female. It should have gone beyond that. That's what I think. That's how the world is going towards.
Yeah. But I don't know how the species will continue. That is also a problem. We need a male and female.
That's also some problem. Some technology, Rahu, then technology will play a vital role. Anybody has anything else to say? The experiences what you learned and experienced with what you heard today.
Yeah, so we'll have to watch video for multiple times to actually know what we have learned.
Yeah, look at the roles. Very important roles is generally a summary of, maybe I have missed something, or you can add, modify this. Very important for understanding the subject in a very different. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So in this month, end of the month, we are having a lecture on past life by sir. It's a 1-day session. The early bird will finish on 15th, I think. Please take this opportunity. And thank you, sir. Thank you for such a wonderful session.
Sure. Thank you.
Things have gone much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.